Right edition, hey, liberalism, left-wingism is the victory of symbolism over substance. There you go, pretty interesting stuff. Let me further that by saying this: a policy or a law or a new government department is seldom designed to solve and identify a problem. The purpose is to reflect well on the person or group that proposes it. Accordingly, most laws and social programs produce no tangible benefit. Policies and laws which are not required create huge bureaucracies. The cost is high and taxes are higher. And I got to tell you, in Canada and in America, socialism is all about let's be equal as long as I have more. And you have a whole bunch of busybodies out doing things that they don't need to do. And how do you fix that? I know. Firstly, don't pay them so well for screwing everything up, and get rid of all the pensions and have term limits with every form of government, in particular with the bureaucrats. Bureaucrats shouldn't stay there a long time. I mean, I know a lot of people say it's just a job, but it isn't. So often politicians change, and prime ministers often, they change parties, but they have the same support staff that were with the other parties, and on goes the story. And a socialist free market is one where there is socialized risk and privatized profit. An 18-year-old guy recently, this was said, he had the whole world ahead of him, he's still learning to shave to start a conversation with a pretty girl, and he still hasn't figured out that a baseball cap is a brim to shade his eyes, not the back of his head. Wisdom. Can't put an old head on a young shoulders or something like that. Hey, Mom, it's wisdom. You used to tell me that. Computers in Parliament now in Canada are used to log on to porn websites 300 times a year. Members of Parliament, peers, and staff are trying to access porn sites up to 800 times a day. Yesterday, records reveal attempts to view adult material peaked in November of 2012, and subsequent to that, they're kind of remaining steady and stable. The members of Parliament are just saying, hey, do we have to talk about that? Well, of course you do, because maybe you're not needed to do your job if you got so much free time. Now, there's a story that I don't think I even want to read. Stockholm, Sweden. I guess I will, since I've started. Okay, let's see. This should always be censored. A Swedish prosecutor said a court's decision to acquit a man who masturbated on a public beach makes it okay. And it goes on to say that it should... I can't even read what they say. Never mind. We're going to get right by that one and go to this one. These guys, they walk among us, and apparently you got a let off and everything. You got a check and a shirt. I don't believe it. You got people and kids and everything walking around. You got perverts on the beach. Coming to a country soon near you as the lefties continue to kind of see what we do every day. Hey, Lava Lamp hits its 50th groovy anniversary. Do you know what a lava lamp is? If you don't, you're not that old. And if you do, you're in the hippie days. And there were 60 relics or hippie home accessories back then. Now the laws now are finally being updated in a lot of different states and counties for cigarettes. And when you flick your cigarette butt, now you're going to get charged. And I used to wonder about that a lot. Now, cigarette people don't offend me. I mean, I could care less. Do whatever you want to do in life, but just don't blow smoke at me. The countries were built, America was built on cigarette income. So, I mean, again, why would I care about it? But certainly seeing butts everywhere is a bit of an issue. Some free enterprise guy, with the help of the government endorsement, should be making little ashtrays to sell people to put in their pockets. It's a big market. But now, of course, this law is going on, and Governor Pat Quinn just now has signed one of the many laws that are coming into effect. If you're caught throwing a cigarette butt out of a car or onto the ground or any public place, you're going to get a $1,500 fine beginning on the New Year's Day, 2014. And it's also happening in many other places. Out of the stupid thief pile, this happened in England. A well-organized group of thieves began the raid on the safe of a leisure center office, and they stole a speedboat to start it all with, and they got water skis to paddle across the lake, and then with the speedboat, they picked up their equipment, paddled to the office, and the speedboat was to get away, I guess. They were kind of towing it, and then they thought, though, they had cutting tools, but instead they had welding gear, and they soon managed to seal the safe completely shut. They steal it, and then they seal it, and it was completely shut. The next morning, it took the office staff 3 hours to hammer and chisel the safe open again. Those safes not too bright. They've been today with this. The farmer had a wife, could be a song, and she nagged him all the time, all day long, and one day while he was outside plowing the field, she came out and started nagging him again, and while she was doing this, a mule that the farmer had kicked her, and she died. At the funerals, the ladies came up and talked to the farmer, and the farmer nodded his head like this, and the men came up and talked to him, and the farmer shook his head like that. Well, this other man that was standing close by wondered why he went like this and like that when he was talking to the men. He went up to the farmer and said, "How come you're doing that? One for the women and one for the men." And he replied, "Well, when the ladies came up, they told me how pretty my wife's dress was and how pretty she looked. I went like that. When the men came up, they said, 'That mule, is it for sale?'" Y'all come back tomorrow. We're going to know more for you from the right. See ya.